Hey everybody, welcome back to Courage Barbell YouTube channel. I actually just ran through 2 quick training sessions because I wanted to kind of make sure I had a good time frame of what to tell you how long these take. One of them is going to be, that I'm going to go over right now tonight, is going to be one of my rotator cuff training sessions. Got through this thing in about 15-20 minutes, not rushing, but not going super slow either. And the other one is going to be forearm work, which will be the next video that I'll go into. That one took me 20 to 25 minutes. So these are nice, easy training sessions. And a lot of people, I keep hearing a lot of lifters that want to be in the gym all the time. Well, you can't come in and train heavy all the time, but you can come in and do these important training sessions that are really going to help you improve your overall strength. Right now I'm seeing a lot of people with horrible wrist when they're bench pressing. It's killing their bench pressing power. Adding one of these sessions in once, possibly even twice a week if you want, can really strengthen your forearms and help get that bench up. The rotator cuff one I'm going to go over right now, that's just going to help keep you from injury. It's going to help you learn to stabilize your shoulders better. It's going to help the rotator cuff muscles to keep everything nice and tight and keep you away from injury. Because remember, injury can be one of the biggest setbacks we have. Screw your rotator cuff up, you could be out anywhere from a week to months. Maybe even more if you really tear something and you have to have surgery. So these are also not ego sessions. These are small muscle groups, well, at least the rotator cuff. The small muscle groups, you're going to work the rotator cuff muscles more if you slow down, focus on your technique, focus on how your body's set up, and focus on the movement and having that mind-muscle connection with those muscles. So, that being said, everyone who's watching this video, if you don't know your rotator cuff muscles, it'd be really cool if you just go on Google, hit rotator cuff muscles, have a look at where they are, how they work, and that way it's going to be better for you to see in your mind's eye. You're going to be able to think about that muscle and feel and visualize that muscle actually doing the work. That's going to help out tremendously. A lot of people have a hard time even feeling their muscle groups, and then when they can't feel it, they're like, oh, I got to go heavier, I got to go heavier. And it's not a matter of heavy, it's a matter of mind-muscle connection. It's a matter of focusing on that particular muscle. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I mess the names up, go ahead and comment, say I'm a dumbass, because I just don't remember shit like that. I can picture all the muscles in my head as far as their names. My guess is I'll probably screw it up. But either way, for me, that's not really relevant. Whatever the name is, I don't care. I just care that you guys know what muscle it is and can picture it in your mind's eye when you're doing the work. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. My first exercise is going to be called the empty can. Now, I've been out of physical therapy for a long, long time. I started my schooling to be a therapist. My undergrad stuff, I worked in it for 7 or 8 years, learned a lot, carried it with me. This was a really popular exercise back then. I've always had great luck with it. Lately on the internet, I see people bagging on it saying it's not good for you. Whatever. So I'm going to do the empty can and the open can. What you want to do, we call it the empty can because you want to act like you're holding a can upside down. So the biggest secret is, and you guys need to remember this, your scapula is your shoulder. So if your upper back is weak, if your scapula is moving, your shoulder is not stable. When you go look up your rotator cuff muscles, look at how the humerus goes into the socket joint, which is your scapula. So what we're going to do, I'm going to stand right here first. I'm going to retract my shoulder blades, not all the way. I'm just trying to go to, say, a neutral position. So I'm not trying to be here, and I'm not trying to be here. I'm just looking for that neutral position where I'm standing up really straight. I'm going to get those rhomboids, middle and lower traps, holding those scaps together and down. So I'm depressing my shoulder. I'm going to point my thumbs at my thighs. And I want to be at about a 45-degree angle. And then I'm going to raise them up at this 45-degree angle. And you're going to find if you have poor flexibility in your wrists, if you have poor flexibility in your shoulders, you're probably going to have a hard time keeping your thumb straight down. Which, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best at. So when I'm doing this, I'm keeping those shoulder blades together, using my lats to keep my shoulders depressed. And I'm just trying to come up into a straight line. And you'll see I'm not doing this. My shoulders aren't coming up. I'm trying to keep everything really, really stable in that shoulder joint. So only my scapula. Not only my scapula, sorry. So only my arms are moving. So my humerus is moving in the socket. And what that's doing is that's forcing my rotator cuff muscles to actually do the work and help stabilize that. And this one is more for your subscapularis. I'm trying to remember the names, it's been a long time. For the subscapularis, which runs over the spine of the scapula and attaches to the top of the humeral head. So it's just like this. And don't try to grab a whole shit ton of heavy dumbbells. I'm using 8s. Actually, I think I used 8s earlier too. Because it's more about, I want to focus on the movement and make the movement really strict and really hard. So I don't need a super heavy dumbbell. And as you can see, I'm holding it like this. So I'm pointing my thumb down. So my thumb's down, pointing at my thighs right here. Coming up. Keeping those shoulders and scaps stable as possible. Not letting the shoulders elevate. And just like this. And for most people, it's actually going to be a really weird sensation because you've probably never really worked these muscles that hard because you're probably doing heavier stuff. And if I go grab 20 or 25 pound dumbbells, I'm not going to be able to isolate my rotator cuff because my deltoids are going to try to take over, my bicep, everything's going to try to take over and help with the lift. If I keep it light and I focus on the movement. Now, the next one I did was going to be, I call it the empty can. Kind of like a, not really a front raise, but kind of like that. So again, upper back in neutral, scaps are tight. Like my rhomboids, mid and low traps are holding my scaps tight. My lats are holding my shoulders in depression. Now my thumb is going to be up. So now I'm pointing up to the sky. Same 45-degree angle. Coming up just like this. Really, really focusing on not letting my shoulders elevate, not letting my scaps move. Really, and the whole time I'm doing these, so this one is going to be a thumbs up. The whole time I'm doing these, even when I'm talking to you guys, I'm picturing in my head, I'm picturing that top rotator cuff muscle, and I'm picturing how it attaches to the humerus. And as I'm lifting it up, it's pulling and tightening and lengthening on the way down. I'm really focusing on that one. I'll say it again later, but we're going to do 3 sets of 10 of each one of these. 3 sets of 8 to 10, 8 to 12 actually is fine. Whatever you feel comfortable with. At any point, if you start getting tired and you're like, oh, and you can feel your scaps coming out and you can feel your shoulders coming up, just stop. It's no longer working those rotator cuff muscles with the intensity that we want. Next, we're going to move to internal and external rotation. There's a lot of different ways to do internal and external rotation. I will cover those in another video. Right now, I'm going to show you the ones I'm working on right now. And these are actually probably my favorite ones for internal and external rotation. So, first of all, I'm going to set up my safety pin. And I want it to be right at a height where I'm at about 90 degrees with my humerus to my body. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a band. For internal rotation, we're going to attach the band high. And I'm going to grab the band close. Now, I want to make sure I'm completely perpendicular to this rack. And I also have a 90-degree bend in my elbow. I'm completely perpendicular to the rack. I'm going to make sure that my arm, when I come down, I don't want to curl it. I want this 90-degree angle staying at 90. So again, I'm going to depress my shoulder, tighten my rhomboids, mid and low traps to help keep my scap in a solid position, and then I'm just going to go internal rotation. And I'm really trying to keep everything stable in my thoracic so that only my humerus is moving. So with this internal rotation, we're working the subscapularis, which will be on the inside of your scapula and then wraps around the humerus. So when you're right here, like I said, you need to look those muscles up because I want you to be able to picture what they look like. And think about that subscapularis attaching to the humeral head on the anterior portion of it and pulling down and helping to do that internal rotation. Really keeping that shoulder stable. Then we're going to move into external rotation. So we got the same setup, but I'm going to take a band and instead of attaching it higher, for internal rotation I have it higher than my pin. For external rotation, I'm going to have it at the same level as my pin. This time I'm going to move to what is to the front of the rack for me, so I'm further away where my band is attached. I'm going to grab my band, again perpendicular to the rack, 90 degrees in the shoulder joint, 90 degrees in the elbow joint. And we're going to come down and up, down and up. The whole time I got my scap stabilized with my mid-back muscles, got my shoulder depressed with my lats, and I'm really focusing on my rotator cuff muscles. So here's a side view of the external rotation. And I'll grab on the band just wherever I need to grab it to get the perfect resistance. This would be the infraspinatus and teres minor, which are the muscles that are on the back side. If you look on your back, they're on the back side of your scapula. And then the internal, I'm going to be closer to the band for the internal, right here. The next exercise is going to be a double external rotation. It's funny, I know a lot of really big benchers who have horrible external rotation. I don't know why we kind of don't pay attention to it, but for some reason we don't. And I think it has a lot to do with our posture. When a lot of guys end up being like this all the time instead of opening up, because guys just get so big they let their chest. So check out my upper body stretching routine edition YouTube show thing, whatever. Check that one out because that's something a lot of guys need to work on too. This one though, this is one of my probably my second favorite. The other one was my first favorite. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right here, 90 degrees in the elbow. Again, retract the scaps, depress the shoulders. I'm going to grab in here a little bit. This is not going to be a huge movement. As you can see, I have some supination issues. My supination sucks and I should work on it, and I admit it. So from right here, I want to keep my elbows tucked into my side. The back's tight, and I'm going to pull apart. And I want you to really think about this humeral head. The humeral head right here. I want you to think about that humeral head twisting. And those muscles on the back of your scapula pulling that humeral head so it twists. And this is not, don't ego band it. Get whatever band works where you can do the movement well and you feel those muscles on the back of your scap. So I'm going to do one band right here, and I'm just like this. And don't feel like you got to go way out. You don't have to go super, super far. And depending on your flexibility, that's probably what's going to limit you. And so if you're coming here and you're like, and you see how my elbows moved out, then that's too much band. And you're using your deltoids instead of those rotator cuff muscles. So keep it right here. This is going to be our last exercise. It's going to be a double external rotation. I've covered this in other videos before, but since I'm going through the whole session, I'm going to go ahead and cover it again. Get yourself a couple kilos of Coke here. You're going to lay prone on your stomach. I want the humerus at 90 degrees and I want the elbows at 90 degrees. I'm going to turn my hat around. I want your forehead on the floor. All you're going to do, you're going to get your shoulders depressed, tighten the scaps down with the rhomboids, mid and low traps, and then you're going to lift. And with this one, you can use dumbbells if you want to. Most people are going to have a hard time doing this. A lot of people may not even be able to get their hands off the ground. I like to go a little slower with it, really control it. And especially that's why I do it at the end. And then I like to give it a little hold at the top and really feel the teres minor and the scapularis. That's it. That one, before I filmed this, I ran through that whole thing. Took me 15 minutes without going super fast and without going super slow. I just focused on, hey, if I come in and just kind of go through this, how quickly can I do it? It's like 15, maybe 20 minutes. It's a weird feeling because like after a lot of our training sessions as power lifters or guys who like to live with intensity or heavy, you just like you feel drained, like you feel like you did all this work. Well, after that session, it's really isolated to my rotator cuff muscles, and my shoulders feel kind of tired, but it's not like I'm drained. It's not like I did all this stuff. I actually feel pretty good, but I can feel. So it's a weird feeling you want to feel like you did something, but you shouldn't be exhausted or anything after this. It's really small muscles that you're working, but I can feel like the inside of my scap. I can feel the back of my scap. I can feel the top of my scap. I feel all those rotator cuff muscles working. Maybe you don't feel that at first, but the more you do this and the more you concentrate on that mind-muscle connection and actually working really on those muscles, the more you're going to feel it. As I said, this is just general strength training stuff. We're just trying to keep the rotator cuff muscles healthy and strong. We're trying to keep them mobile and flexible, which again, I said, go to the upper body stretching videos. So we're just going to do a general 3 sets of 8 to 12. Everything you should feel the muscle working, but the technique is more important. I don't give a shit what size dumbbell you use. I don't give a shit what size band you use. Use ones that allow you to stay in really solid technique, but you can feel the muscle working. Work on that mind-muscle connection. Work on understanding what these muscles are, how they move, and think about that. Picture it in your mind's eye when you're going through the movement. That's going to give you a much better connection. It's going to work on those muscles much better, and you're going to be way more successful and have way healthier shoulders. And on to the spiel. Please go to CourageBarbell.com, pick up a t-shirt. I got some new hoodies we're making coming into winter. I'm going to try to get those up. I'm so far behind on everything. I have some new designs I got to get up. So anyway, please go check it out. See if there's something on there you like. Try to buy it. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Please share this channel. I'm trying to work on YouTube Shorts. You know, if you can if you can share them to your stuff or whatever. If you go to my Instagram, Chad Ikes, share some of my stories, share some of my posts. I post a lot of different stuff on my Instagram. I don't know. I feel like everything around training affects life, so everything kind of all ties in together. We just did a bunch of new podcasts with some great guests, some awesome information. I know I have 2 more getting ready right now with Jimmy Kolb, who's the highest bench presser in the world. I just did one with J.M. Blakely, who's one of the greatest bench pressers of all time. Super, super knowledgeable. Both of those podcasts were a blast. We just did one with Sarah Buckley, which had a lot of flexibility and mobility. We did one with Dr. Kristen Landier. Did one with Leah Reichman. I've just hit like all these amazing people and all this amazing, amazing content for you guys to listen to. That's it though. For now, I'm out of here, and hopefully I can get this other one shot, get these posted, get you guys some more content. But until next time, I'm out of here.